My boss wants me to date her daughter. What are the cons of doing this? I work in an office doing data entry and I expect to be working there in the long run. My boss showed me a picture of her daughter and she's really hot. My boss said we also have a lot of similar hobbies and interests. Update: I agreed to meet her. My boss will set up a three-way. Where in the world are we talking about? In some places, or within certain ethnic groups, it would mean you have a job for the rest of your life, and a good career prospect, and a family. Elsewhere, a thing like that would only raise red flags. Bro, you got a word that update different. Well, if it is your boss's business and things go sour with a romance, you will find yourself without a job really quickly. If she is a manager at a bigger firm, she might treat you very bad after a breakup with her daughter. Yes, this is fraught with dangers, but it can also be very rewarding. If you do decide to go out with the daughter, make a decision quickly if you have doubts it is going to work. Like 3-4 dates in, be prepared to go to your boss and just say something like, wanted to let you know although your daughter is very sweet, our long-term visions for our lives didn't line up, and decline to answer any questions from the boss with the line, I keep the details of my social life to myself, and keep your paws off until you've made the go no-go decision. You win big or you lose big. No in between. When you break up, when the boss overhears you tell a workmate that you really gave it to her last night. What kind of three-way are we talking about here? If she's hot, give it a shot. That's my motto. Well, it was once my motto. Now it's if she's not a guy, give it a try. You are reading way too far into your boss showing you a picture and noticing you have similar interests. But on the off chance that she is trying to say you up, don't dip the pen in company ink. It's a saying for a reason. How are we not talking about the three-way edit? Go for a drink and see what happens. You may be reading too much in her showing the picture. And even if there are more signs, be aware that may cost you the job if stuff does not work out. Is it worth the risk? This is almost like shallow Hal. Don't do it. Just be casual. Never mix business with pleasure, especially if you plan to work there for a long time. People are strange when it comes to their children and you don't want workplace retaliation. Do not do it. Dated my ex-boss' son and it was the worst mistake I had ever made. Keep things professional at work and don't shit where you eat. You might want to rephrase that update. Seems to work out pretty well for the folks on Pornhub. If she's hot, do it. It's only a data entry job. Upside outweighs the downside. Your boss wants you and this is her way of fulfilling that fantasy. Not sure if that's even remotely true, but I watched a lot of sitcoms and this happens in those shows. Winking face. My boss will set up a threesome. Damn, that can't be right. Do it. I banged my boss' daughter on his desk 'cause I hated him. We've been together 24 years and he's a great father-in-law. You just never know. No, don't get your meat where you make your bread. Ask your boss what's the dowry. Because apparently she's trying to arrange a match for her daughter. So it should be worth your while. Apart from that, depends on the labor laws of your country. Dating your boss's daughter isn't illegal and not a legal reason for firing in most countries. In others, you need to be a good little drone to not be kicked out once babygirl complains about you. Up to you. Update: I agreed to meet her. My boss will set up a three-way. WTF? I thought she wanted you to date her, not gang bang her. Does three-way have a different meaning where you are to where I am? You, the boss and her daughter? I'm not sure if I'm disturbed or turned on. Open mouth smile. My boss will set up a three-way. You know what you do? You go buy yourself a tape recorder and record yourself for a whole day. You might be surprised at some of your phrasing. My boss will set up a three-way. This got real weird real fast. Has your boss actually said or even hinted that she wants you to date her daughter? From your description, it really doesn't sound like it. However, if she has suggested it, then I expect you could have a case of sexual harassment on your hands as the victim. If that's not clear, does the boss's daughter's opinions matter on this? Of all the things that didn't happen today, this didn't happen the most. If that's all that happened, I'd say that she just loves her daughter and wanted to talk about her with you. Not really enough to jump on the "she wants me to date her" train. That said, if there are more signs and she actually does seem nice, there is no real downside apart from the fact that she can turn on you when it's over. But then there are other jobs. Just keep personal and work life apart from each other. Sounds like a trap. From what you've described here, what makes you think she wants you to date her daughter? Perhaps she's just proud of her daughter and likes to show people a picture of her? Just seems odd what you are reading into her actions. Dunno if your boss has the right to say who dares their daughter? Just saying she might have other plans. I wouldn't date anyone who's being pimped out by their parents. On principle. If you met the daughter independently and then found it she was your boss' daughter, then yes. Like this, I'd ask how many cows he wants for her hand. Don't shit where you eat. What makes you think the daughter wants to date you? Does she get a choice in this? Wants me to date his daughter. And what do you want? And what does she want? What country are we talking? Oh, this is a minefield. Do you want to marry this woman? Do you like this job? If you start dating her, likely you'll end up having to leave both. But who knows, maybe you'll get married and become the boss. Massive minefield. I highly advise against it if you're only doing it because your boss wants you to. Now if you really like her, then go on some dates and see, but I still highly advise against it. Have you thought about being friends first? Or do people not make an acquaintance, then become friends? Maybe then after a long time maybe fall in love? It seems like people start on the opposite end. Does the daughter have no say in this? Just don't end up banging Mrs. Robinson, okay? Late to the party. Seems three-way is the buzzword. Lol, could be a great career move, could get you fired. Have you even met this girl? Very real possibility she won't be interested in you. Whatever you do, just have a plan to find a new job if it goes bad. A three-way. That does not mean what you think it means, lol. I hope. He is setting up a three-way? Kinky AF. My boss will set up a three-way. HWAT. I'm curious about the three-way. Weird boss is pimping out his daughter. You're thinking with your dick, Jimmy. Seriously though, don't do it. There has to be a reason. There's so many phrases like don't mix business with pleasure. Sounds like a great opportunity to get a hot girl and your boss's gratitude. Great, that is, until it becomes a disaster and you lose your job for disappointing his daughter. Don't shit where you eat. Do you want to be jobless? Your boss is setting up a three-way. Phrasing man showed me a picture of her daughter. My boss will set up a three-way. This sounds like the plot to a Pornhub video. Ever hear the old phrase, never shit where you eat? Don't date, hook up with co-workers because you will see them every day. I feel this falls under that category. Never hurts to try, but in the end you choose if the risk is worth it. Never fuck the company, especially if there's power imbalances. Never date someone if someone else wants you to.